You guys were right once again. You guys were right once again. And the more I look at these stats that are being highlighted by ESPN and national media, the more I realize that they are excluding Caitlin Clark and erasing her from history once again.
The debate surrounding Caitlin Clark's early career records has taken another dramatic turn, with many fans questioning how certain statistical milestones have been presented by major sports media. Supporters argue that several graphics highlighting Olivia Miles' accomplishments used different statistical combinations each time they were published. Instead of following one consistent category, critics say the benchmarks appeared to change depending on which milestone was being promoted. That has led some fans to wonder whether the comparisons fairly represented the achievements of every player involved. Looking at the numbers, Caitlin Clark reached several impressive combinations of points, rebounds, and assists early in her career. Fans point out that in multiple stretches of games, Clark led in rebounds and assists while Miles scored more points. Because of those differences, some believe the statistical categories emphasized one player's strengths while excluding categories where Clark held the advantage.
To this sooner. There are two standards being applied to Caitlin Clark's rookie season and Olivia Miles' rookie season. Olivia Miles' rookie season versus
Cast celebrated Olivia Miles for reaching 300 points, 100 rebounds, and 100 assists, describing it as a historic accomplishment. Critics responded by
remember last time when Holly Rowe and Olivia Miles, the last time they got in front of a microphone, and Holly Rowe said Olivia Miles was the fastest to 300 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists, and we debunked that, and we found that to be false. That record actually...
Many supporters believe this reflects a broader issue about how milestones are presented rather than criticism of Olivia Miles herself. Miles has put together an outstanding rookie season and deserves credit for her performances. The controversy centers on whether media outlets have applied consistent standards when highlighting records.
I did some more digging with the facts that ESPN are posting on social media, talking about after games, about Olivia Miles' stat lines, and I started to realize that they were excluding Caitlin Clark from history. This is insane what's happening, and it is going unaddressed by national media, the sports industry. I don't know how much longer this can continue before someone steps in.
As the conversation spread across social media, basketball fans began comparing game logs, box scores, and milestone dates to verify the claims for themselves. These side-by-side comparisons fueled debate over whether statistical thresholds were selected consistently or
plus 100 assists.
Olivia Miles is the fastest player to 350 plus points and 100 assists, passing Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark. Now I said, you know what? Let me do some research into this as well, because if that stat was wrong on national TV, what else could be?
Ultimately, the official box scores remain part of the league's permanent record. Regardless of media graphics or social media discussions, every point, rebound, and assist is documented. The larger question for many fans is whether future milestone graphics should follow consistent criteria so that every player is measured by the same.
So I realized something. I said, 350 plus points and 100 assists is interesting.
Many supporters believe this reflects a broader issue about how milestones are presented rather than criticism. Ultimately, the official box scores remain part
assists, but when you look at this stat line right here, it says 350 plus points and only 100 assists. What happens to 300 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists? Why are we now looking at 350 points and we can't even find a rebound?
Looking at the numbers, Caitlin Clark reached several impressive combinations of points, rebounds, and assists early in her career. Fans point out that in multiple stretches of games, Clark led in rebounds and assists while Miles scored more points. Because of those differences, some believe the statistical categories emphasized one player's strengths while excluding categories where Clark held the advantage.
They propped up and they increased the threshold to 350 to exclude Caitlin Clark from this one. And then they dropped rebounds entirely. Why? Because Caitlin Clark has 104 and she's eligible for that award when Olivia Miles has yet to crack 100 at this point, right?
The threshold only ever moves in the direction that protects the narrative, never the direction that tests it. 2 weeks later, July 13th, new graphic. This time the threshold is 400 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists. Rebounds are back.
Once again, on July 13th, ESPN Insights posted Olivia Miles has reached 400 points in her rookie season. Miles is now the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 400 points.
Looking at the numbers, Catline Clark reached several impressive combinations of points, rebounds, and assists early in her career. Fans point out that in multiple stretches of games, Clark led in rebounds and assists while Miles scored more points. Because of those differences, some believe the statistical categories emphasized one player's strengths, while excluding categories where Clark held the advantage.
Biggest of them all, the way Olivia Miles is guarded versus how Catline Clark was guarded. Catline Clark accounted for, I think, 70% of all flagrant fouls committed during the 2024 season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed on Catline Clark.